Welcome to another Petersburg By Night revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Bloody Strings, one of the many chronicles here at St. Pete by Night. I'm Devlin Kane, your humble storyteller this evening, and here are my lovely players. Please introduce yourselves again.
Hi, I'm Chucky XC, and I play Drake Monahan, the brash Bahari Bruja.
Hi, I'm Kendall, the Elemental on TikTok, and I'm playing Maggie Haywood the Hakata.
Hello, I am Lakar the Artificer on TikTok, and I am once again playing the well-dressed ne'er-do-well Toreador Matthew Halden.
Hey, I'm Mew, and I'll be playing Sophie Clues, the malted milkshake Malkavian.
Fantastic. Last we left off, the Coterie had come back together after their particular adventures. After swapping notes, they had come to, had been given information, or found information, depending which individual gained it, about a blood drive that was coming up, where things seem to possibly coming to a head. The ritual that the Hakata need to do seemed to be focused around that event, and it seems that Mr. Halden has been called out by his once friend, now enemy. Taking a little time to prepare, we are going to kick things off and follow Mr. Monahan. Where do we find you this evening?
Drake has been on the move a while. He's been hopping about bit by bit. Although right now he's taking some time in an alley, staring at his phone as he has Iwani's number pulled up. And finally he hits call.
It rings a couple of times. A couple more. And then finally, you hear the answer on the other end. Hello?
Well, hey there, Bumblebee.
Drake, where you been?
Oh, I've been flitting about some here and there, but I think it's been a bit too long since I checked up on my favorite little buzz around, you know?
It has been a while. What have you been up to?
Oh,
Did you guys make it where you're heading all right?
Yeah. Yeah, we got that all right. But a lot goes on. The usual stuff I can't talk about. But I'll be lying if I said it hasn't been a bit rough, you know, having to deal with some problematic folks. But that doesn't really matter. I want to check on my bumblebee. How have you been doing, honey?
Well, everything is more of the same. Just kind of making sure everything's up and running as I usually do. I have a meaning to reach out to you, but I didn't. I don't know if you changed your number. I haven't been able to reach you.
Yeah, I had to. But go on, honey.
Well, a couple people came by a few weeks ago. They were looking for you. I didn't know them, but I told them I'd let you know they came. They said they were part of a. I think they called it like a club that you're a part of.
Did they seem like rough and tumble, or did they seem kind of like weedy, little pretty folk?
I mean, the guy I talked to was kind of cute, but other than that, the other one they were with seemed a little quiet. He didn't talk too much, but they said that they were friends of yours. They've been trying to get a hold of you for a while. I told them I'd let you know. I wasn't sure where you guys headed off to this time, so I couldn't give them your location or anything. But
yeah, that was probably for the best, honey. But they might be friends, might be not. You did the right thing. They didn't make you scared or nothing, did they?
There was a moment that seems a little, I don't know, it seems a little hazy. I think I might have just kind of got distracted. There was a moment of fear that I felt, but then everything was fine. I guess something jumped at my attention. I just don't know what it was now.
Yeah, Bumblebee, you've always had some good instincts on you. That tells me all I need to know about these folks. Hey, you remember that tree that you used to swing off of while your pap and I did some business?
Yeah.
If you start getting pestered, or more people come asking for me, the type that you probably shouldn't talk to, you'll find a old, probably beaten up briefcase, and I want you to take that, and I want you to do what you want with your life. All right? Can you promise me that, honey?
Give me a charisma and persuasion.
Ready? This is important to them, so we're going to blood search.
What's your hunger at right now?
4. Use all the power. That is 3 successes.
3 successes. As you say the words, She kind of sits there quietly for a moment. Drake, who are these guys?
Well, I can't. The more you know, the more you're going to be in trouble, Lumpy. But suffice to say, they're the types that your paps and I ran with, that dear Robbie was running with. They don't like me very much. Not no more. I took issue with some things they were doing, and well, they didn't like that I took issue. I don't want you pulled into that. You know. I wish I could tell you more, honey. I do. But what matters to me is that you do what you need to do if you need to do it, you know?
Are you gonna be okay?
Oh, if I'm being honest with you, honey, I haven't been okay in a while. But I'll see it through. And if the chance comes that I can come by and make sure and treat everything as good and golden, you know, check on our garden, things like that, you know, I will. And yeah, one way or another, I'll be okay. So don't you worry.
How's your friend?
Drake will pause for a while. Well, I can only hope that he's found the piece he's been looking for a while. I guess you could say we've gone our separate ways.
Drake, where are you?
Now, honey, I'm not gonna give you that. I know you'll come looking. Bumblebee, don't. You are the only good thing to truly come out of that ranch. And then I don't want you tangled in mud that you don't need to be in.
I better hear something in the next week or two.
The moment that I can, I will. Don't you worry. But if you don't, or you know those men, women come back for you, you know what to do. And you're always going to be my little bumblebee, Iwani.
She's quiet for a moment. Be careful. Don't make me have to come find you.
You know, funny thing is, I've actually been. I like to think I've gotten a little bit more careful these days, but
I don't
I'll have to
believe you.
see. I try. I do try. But sure. Sure thing, Bumblebee. You be careful too.
She gets off the phone. What's on Drake's mind?
Drake still has the phone in his hand, looking down at it. Just closes his eyes. He knows what he needs to do. Wani was the last real reaching out he needed to do. He made a promise. They want the monster. They want the war dog to come bang. It's gonna come bang. Loaded the bear.
And where do you go from here?
He's going to be careful, but he's going to start heading towards where everyone else is. He's going to make sure he's got his stakes, his Kopesh. And he's going to move with his motorcycle around the city until he thinks it's safe to go.
As you hit the road, I suppose time will tell as to whether or not Drake can keep the promise so many in the story have failed to do. We move away from Drake, and we will follow Sophie. Where is Sophie this evening?
Sophie has followed the address instructions from Ezekiel that mentioned when you're ready to come find us, here's the address.
You follow the address. It takes you kind of north of the downtown area. Not very far from the Ascent, actually. You find a nice set of apartments. You follow the way to get into the building, make your way up the elevator, up to about the 4th floor, and you find a room. 403. Standing in front of it. You hear, roll a wits awareness for me.
Three successes.
You hear some music, very faintly, playing on the other side of the door. Kinda jazzy, but very smooth. You don't hear anything else. As you look down the hallway, there are a few other doors going down, proper consecutive numbers. The lights are not super bright, but enough to properly illuminate the space.
Sophie will check inside her purse very quickly and then close it and then knock on the door twice. Two very sharp, hard knocks.
You knock on the door. You can see the hole, a light illuminate through the hole in the door and then get covered again after a moment. Nothing happens for what feels like an eternity. And the door finally unlocks and opens. And you see Ezekiel. Smiling. Good evening, Sophie.
Good evening, Mr. Thorne. I have come in acknowledgement of your wish to officially meet, although we've met several times already.
Well, please come in. He steps out of the way and gestures for you to enter.
Thank you.
You step inside, you can hear the music. It's the same music that, just instrumental, but it's the same music that you heard at the gala sometime before. He closes the door behind you and guides you into kind of like the main living area. There's not a whole lot here. This place definitely looks like a temporary setup. They have not made this into a home, so to speak. There is some furniture, but it all looks like it's the same kind of stuff that would have been here when they moved in. He guides you over to the couch or chair, whichever you would have your pick, and offers you a seat. Are you hungry?
Oh no, I am satiated, but thank you. That is very gracious offering as a host.
Oh, of course. He goes and kind of sits across from you. I have informed Marie that you will be joining us this evening. They're currently getting prepared. They'll be coming out in a moment.
Wonderful.
Is there any questions or anything you may wish to ask before they come out, or?
No, no, that's fine. Yeah, no, I don't think I do. It's fine.
Very good.
No questions here.
I am sorry about your brother. I didn't get to speak to you the other night, but
Yes, well, I probably would have been a bit nasty. May have bitten your head off a bit, but I'm not. I don't mean that as a threat. That was just a turn of speech. Did she seem enthusiastic about meeting, or more calm?
I wasn't going to bring her to Florida with me, but she insisted.
Oh, good. That's probably good, right? Or she's terribly angry at me for that night. That is technically your fault, although it could be considered indirectly my fault. Did she seem angry?
In my humble opinion, I would say no. But you are free to ask her.
Well, so far you haven't seemed very humble. But that's good to hear.
He nods. At that moment, he kind of looks. Go ahead.
Oh, I did bring you something, as a measure of good faith for upholding our, a boon situation and not, interfering the night of the trial. Although things did not go well for Duncan, you did not, make it worse. So I've brought something, for you, which may give you some comfort after what happened to Christoph. I know my feelings for him, but he was not my child. So I brought something that I feel may remind you of him, although much more innocent than he was. It is called the Little Prince, and I find it very whimsical, and you might enjoy it. It's very French, like he was. And she will hand over the little book.
Takes the book and he smiles. Christoph was very passionate. But he was timid, afraid of things. I thought maybe introducing him into a world where he doesn't need to fear everything in every shadow might empower him to be comfortable in his own skin, and it seems I set him on a path to cause great harm to other people, and before you were simply food. But when I found out what he had done, you were not that anymore, were you? I am dreadfully sorry for the trouble he caused you. And as much as I grieve his passing, it should have been me who had to hold him accountable, and not the two of you.
Yes. Well, it's done now.
Yes.
You can't change the past.
Okay.
Unless, of course, you have special abilities given to you by consuming large humanoid figures, in which case you alter many things in the past and the present to create your desired outcome. But so far, I don't believe any kindred have developed that ability.
Not to my knowledge. About that moment, you hear a door open from behind. He kind of looks past you. I will leave the two of you alone. He stands up, and he leaves the room. You hear a couple footsteps come from behind, and then move around to sit where Ezekiel was. And you see a very familiar face. Wearing a very nice dress, smiling, has her hair up. She's wearing makeup as she sits down very gracefully on the chair and just smiles at you. My dear Sophie.
Hello? 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 Thank you for inviting me, and I love what you've done with your hair. It's very, very different.
Well, one of the things that he moved me toward was performance. And that came with a few changes in attire and presentation.
Well, I hoped not too many things have changed. Obviously, some things change with time. It's been a very long time.
It has. I wasn't sure I was going to get to see you again. I thought you died that night. I thought I died that night.
Yes, I too thought that happened. I am very grateful that you are not deceased, though I do apologize for sort of being the cause of you being put in that situation. I do hope you'll forgive me that you probably missed your potential future performance in the Glass Menagerie. I'm sure you would have done great. Have you made it to Broadway? Have you been on the stage?
Many times.
That's wonderful.
I remember telling you to run. Or you telling. It gets very blurry sometimes. It's...
There was a lot happening.
But I remember the man that was Ezekiel had taken you away. And I remember dying. But before I did, I could hear Ezekiel returning. And it was probably for the best that I was losing consciousness, because I could hear what he was doing to the man. And I woke up in his home. Different. He would not speak of you for 10 years. Give me no answers. But he taught me how to exist. After 10 years, he finally told me that you were out of reach. He lost contact with the people that you were sent to. And then, about a year ago, he said he felt something peculiar. And then he found your name when reaching out to a couple of contacts he had here in the city. He said he was going to come ahead, and I insisted on following.
Yes, well, if I had known that you were all right, I most certainly would have contacted you first or called. Although you may not necessarily have wanted to talk to me. I mean, I'm sure you've friends and other relations while I've been gone. But I'm glad to see you here now. That you're well, doing well.
Do you think it was your fault somehow?
Well, yes, because you were with me that night that Ezekiel came to take me for my knowledge. That you know what I was studying at the university, and unfortunately, you were there at the time. I mean, you know, months before I was a bit paranoid and distraught. I thought I was being followed, and I didn't go out at night. But I wanted to see your audition, and yes, I'm terribly sorry about that.
You shouldn't apologize because someone who lost their mind kidnapped you. I didn't blame you, I blamed Kristoff. And eventually I got over it. I can do so many wonderful things I couldn't do before. The noise gets to be a little much sometimes, but Ezekiel helped me manage it.
That's wonderful. I haven't had much issue with noise specifically, mostly smells. It's like my mother when she would talk when she was pregnant. it's like that. It's hyper smells. Not that you would understand being pregnant in our situation, but sorry, I'm rambling a bit, aren't
You
I?
always did.
Yes. Well, have you had many relations in since I've in I'm sure.
No. I have mostly been focusing on the career side.
Oh yes, that would make you quite busy. A career woman.
Mostly radio now. It's gotten to a point where people begin to question the fact that I look exactly the same as I did.
Oh yes, like there's another popular one. Was it Beyonce?
Flattered, but not quite the same. It must have been really hard for you.
Oh, it wasn't that bad. It's all fine now.
I had Ezekiel told me about Duncan. I regret I didn't get the chance to meet him.
Oh, you would have loved him. He was great. I must confess, I'm about to be doing something a bit dangerous, but it is to help protect the city. So, if something happens, make sure you're safe outside the city.
What are you doing?
Oh, we're just going to destroy the big sky spirit, and save everyone. And it's going to be wonderful. Most of it is under the plans of wonderful Maggie Haywood. She's extremely competent. So I believe everything will go off without a hitch.
If she's extremely competent, there's no reason for you to go.
Oh no, they do need my help a bit. There's a plan involving I'm going to hide something for them. Actually, I can't say that it's not illicit, I suppose. But yes, yes, I believe the plan will be fine, but perhaps if you and Ezekiel left the city for the next few nights, that might be good. But yes, I just wanted to let you know about that.
No. I've waited to see you decades, and you're telling me you're going to rush off on some dangerous venture to fight a spirit?
Well,
In a
it's
city full of, as you say, competent kindred? Why don't you just... Why don't you just come home with us?
well, I suppose it might be good, but it has to be after everyone is saved.
Ezekiel has told me about this coterie you're operating with. One left town, the whip of the city.
Yes, but I'm sure it was on official Malkavian business to help protect the rest of the clan.
What about the one who allowed a hunter in the city? And I understand two of them,
Well,
at this count, have had hunters associated with them.
he was not perhaps in the best mental health, and he should have had more access to care for that. And that situation was dealt with completely.
Why is it you that has to do this?
It is not just me, it is others in my coterie, and we have to do this because no one else is. Many others don't seem to care about the destruction this could brought, and we have to step up.
If the city doesn't care enough to handle it themselves...
Well, the kind don't know. They're not aware.
The kind have weathered many tragedies. What's one more? That's not worth losing you. I just found you. That's...
Marie, if everyone had that mindset, we would all be speaking German.
You're set on this, then.
You well know when I put my mind to something that I don't give up on it easily.
Very well. Then I'm coming with you.
Oh, I don't wish to put you in more harm. I already...
No, but I'm just as stubborn as you.
No, but I already got Duncan hurt.
You didn't. Kristoff did.
It's kind of a bit my fault, actually, because, you see, the keeper, kind of, well, you don't know this because in the trial, Duncan confessed, and everyone thought it was him, but actually, the keeper pretty much was flayed in front of me, and it was going to be blamed on myself. And Duncan, of course, confessed and saved me. So it is kind of well, it's directly the fault of whatever flayed Edwin, which may not have been Edwin. We're still not sure of that. But yes, it is indirectly a
horrible.
bit my fault. If you feel that you are worried for my safety, Ezekiel can come and help.
You don't trust Ezekiel.
Well, no, but if one of you is going to be closer to danger, then I'd rather it be Ezekiel.
And if you're going to be closer to danger, I'd rather it be me. You were never much of a scrapper.
No, but if you're there, I might get nervous, and then I might underperform.
Why would you get nervous?
Because it's been a very long time, and I don't want you to think that I am not as perhaps strong or clever as when we left. You've had a long time to become accustomed to the world, and I may say something stupid.
Darling, you have survived an encounter with hunters. Ambitious Chicago Nosferatu. And you are currently battling a spirit. I don't know how weak you think I could possibly find you.
All of that was with the Coterie that many kindred seem to forget that the Coterie together has accomplished many things, despite some small mistakes.
Just because you did it with a group of people doesn't mean you didn't do it. You were a part of those things. You survived those things. And I am sure that you helped complete those tasks. Helped the others survive what you guys went through. I don't mean to belittle your friends in any capacity, but it would be wrong to not acknowledge your part in it. Just because you did it with people doesn't make you weak.
Well, fine then. Come along then, and you can help. You can. We do not have someone that can watch the surveillance from the van, about 2 miles away from the place that we will be bringing in the thing that I must hide. So that might be a good for you to do.
Are you going in the van?
No, I'm going to be with the object in case anything happens and I need to hide it again.
And that is where I'll be.
That does not make sense. Oh, you know what? Actually, look at the time. I do believe that I must go procure some things for that night.
Sophie.
I will let you know in the next few nights when we plan to do this.
You can try to walk away and then not give me any information about it.
Oh, I gave you plenty of information. It will be within the next few nights, and I will
Where's the location?
let you know. I'm actually not sure of that, and this is completely truthful because I have not spoken to my coterie yet about it. So even if you looked into my head, you would not see it.
I don't have to.
Can you see the future? You're laughing, but the I've met those that see bits.
I can get glimpses, but no, I'm more of a. I tend to get what I want.
Yes, well, you always were a bit that way. Yes, well, as I said, I should go. This has been lovely, and I do hope to see you in the next few nights.
If for whatever reason you do not, reach out to me so that I can come to this little soiree of yours. I will find you. I'm the reason Ezekiel found you.
What?
At that point, she smiles as she stands up. I thought you had to rush to make sure everything is in order.
Well, you could tell me in about 2 minutes. I mean, I am in a rush, but I just don't know to what you mean. Do you mean it was on connections? Have you made connections in St. Petersburg?
Just you.
Well, then, how was it? How were there connections?
The same way all of us who are the children of Malkov are connected. See, you smell things. They're like little music notes for me. I just have to strum the string.
Well, that is very interesting and great to know. And I look forward to learning all of the hidden secrets that many have failed to share with me. But yes, I really must be going. So, good day to you and to Mr. Thorne. Before I go, I will leave this for you. And Sophie places a book on the coffee table. Good night. And Sophie will rush out the apartment.
As you head out of the apartment, Ezekiel kind of steps out, kind of cuts you off between you and the door. Before you go, he holds out a gift-wrapped square, very thin, with a little bow on it, hands it to you. We prepared something for you as well. Safe travels, and I'm sure we'll be hearing back from you soon.
But thank you. I do hope this is not a bomb. Thank you and good night.
Good night.
And she will
He
rush down
opens
the hall.
door and lets you out. What is on Sophie's mind as you dart out of the apartment building very quickly?
Sophie is extremely nervous and a little confused about the overwhelming feelings that she has, and she's a little concerned about Marie being in danger in the next few nights. And she's also thinking about how when we pull this off, she needs to survive for Duncan, because that was Duncan's last wish.
Do you look at the gift?
Sophie will look at the gift once she's reached Books and Bourbon.
You unwrap it, and it seems to be a record. It has her stage name on the label. And it has some of the songs, and you see that one of them is kind of circled in a red marker on the packaging. Reading by candlelight.
Sophie will play it. It's a vinyl, right? Yeah, Sophie will play it.
It begins playing, and you immediately recognize the music a little bit. It sounds like it's a bit of a change up on a song that you often heard her listening to whenever you two were spending time together. And then you begin to hear her sing. And it's very lovely. And it seems as if she is singing to a person. And it does remind you of when the two, she would be talking or you would be reading, sometimes reading to her. With that music in the background. And as you let that song play, we will move over to another part of the city and see what Maggie and Matthew are up to. Where do we find you two this evening?
She'd probably be meeting him at somewhere he would designate.
Matt would message Maggie and have her meet somewhere neutral to try to keep whoever and whatever might be following us off their trail as best he could.
So Maggie's just going to pick up Matthew with Jarvis driving, and they're going to drive around.
Sitting in the back, you have your privacy. The scene is yours.
Figure we should talk this out before having our meeting with the proper authorities for this.
Yeah, I'd never thought the day would come when I'd want to actually go to the people of authority. Willingly. Handcuffs.
For some reason, I get the feeling that the handcuffs are only half the time unwillingly.
Depends on the mood and who I'm with.
So, what can you tell me about this Victor?
Well, he's definitely full of himself. I'd say textbook narcissist. But then again, you know, he's family to an extent, and definitely likes to showboat. Has no problem throwing his weight around if it would get him somewhere, or manipulating someone to get what he wants. Again, that's more of a family thing.
I understand. I wasn't clear. I need to be able to argue that he is worth giving up. I don't know this man very well. I know he is not a particular fan of our coterie for whatever reason. I know he is interested in art. I know he is likely sharing a faith with Drake. I know that he was Gray's partner.
If it were just me, well, if it were, me or Bella or you or Sophie had seen what he was doing, wouldn't be hard to answer that question. But after what I saw him do to someone I've come to respect, if what little we got on him is enough, shouldn't be a problem.
What do you have on him?
Well, the fact that and right now there's not much without somebody digging inside my head or Drake's. But considering I watched him try to eat a friend of mine for a ritual.
Attempted diablerie.
Yeah. He gaslit the hell out of Gray. Which is why I didn't try to bring him back, because I had a feeling that Gray was too far gone.
That doesn't really sound like you.
Which part?
Giving up on something because it's too far gone. Is there more to this?
Gray made his choices. We tried to warn him. We tried to stop him. But ultimately, he was his own person. And he had to live with the consequences. I had to think about it like this. If I could have saved Duncan, I would have. I hardly know the guy, but he was important to Sophie. If I could have saved Bella's friend, I would have. Didn't know her, but she was important to Bella. If something were to go wrong with your friend here, I'd try to save him, because he's important to you. Drake's friend saved me and Drake from that nightmare of a party. I don't think there was any saving him. But Gray,
Very dip.
he thought he knew what was best for himself. I can't say that he wouldn't have figured it out on his own, but he wasn't stupid. He was very good at getting himself in and out of trouble. I don't think there was anything left of Gray to save that would have been good for us to bring back. Not all art can be salvaged. Hell, there are books that are thousands of years old under glass that if you so much as breathed on it the wrong way, into nothing. Gray was one of those books. I don't think anything we could have done would have brought him back in one piece. And so I made a choice, because trying to save him would have endangered more people. And I've already put all of you in enough danger. Hell, I don't think Carmen's ever going to speak to me again.
And not without an appropriate amount of groveling.
Yeah, I'm going to have to bring her a whole slew of hot guys just to get her to say hi to me.
Maybe. I understand. I think. Having to choose to sacrifice someone you care about. I'm not going to shame you for it. Gray is not someone I knew personally. Just seemed strange for you to say. Because if he is the way that he is, and we go through with what we're doing to Victor, it may break what little is left of him.
Well, we'll burn that bridge when we come to it.
Yes, burning. You know, my sire the other night asked me why I was in this coterie.
You did something wrong in another life?
He thought, to put it very succinctly and into colloquial terms, it's a bit of a dumpster fire.
Poetry.
And I've been asked it a couple of times why I'm in this coterie. I usually give the reasons. But she will lift up her necklace and show off the medal on it. Do you know what this is?
He'll take a close look at it.
It's a saint's medal.
Okay.
The name has been rubbed off. My grandmother gave it to me. But every time she would look at it, she'd say it was the patron saint of lost causes. Because I was the product of a marriage that was a lost cause. And I suppose I have a softness for them now.
Meanwhile, I was particularly fond of Saint Nicholas.
Patron saint of thieves and prostitutes.
I mean, I can understand where the Santa thing came from. Only, instead of us waiting for the guy to come down the chimney and give us presents, we went and got our own.
Yes, you did. This is... if we pull this off. I hope you're prepared to mourn your friend.
He's on the list.
Good. She will look to the front. Jarvis, please start route toward the dolly.
As you wish, Miss Haywood. He begins making his way to the dolly. Doesn't take very long before you finally arrive. What is your intent at the dolly?
Well, I'd assume this is where that they would normally be meeting to state their case, unless there's somewhere else they're supposed to do that.
That's why I'm double checking. You're here to discuss. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Are you looking for anyone in particular? I guess would have been a better question.
Probably start with Cahill and then work their way up.
Fair enough. As you make your way to the dolly, you meet with security again. They seem a little confused maybe at your presence. I guess regarding the fact that you guys continue to show up with your boss having been dead for so long now. But they go and they fetch Cahill for you. He steps outside to meet you instead of bringing you in. Right? What can I do for you?
There.
Oh, okay, my turn? Cool. So, my associate here wants to do something that, well, to put it bluntly, pretty much will save all of your asses and ours too. But to do so, it involves a very specific ritual. Is that it? A ritual, Maggie?
A ceremony.
Yeah.
It
Thank you.
involves what was spoken about in court. We were supposed to speak more with the sheriff, and I believe it's the Brewhog Primogen in this regard.
Right. Hey, no, I recall that. I must admit, the sheriff is a little preoccupied. Have you all seen the news?
What's on fire now?
Follow me, and he'll take you inside. He takes you into that conference room that you guys spent quite a bit of time in before wheeling in a little TV and firing it up. There have been, apparently, as the news comes up, about somewhere upward of like 700 cases of violent crimes happening over the span of like the last week. Shooting, stabbings, attempted murders and assaults. A lot of people who were not able to be brought in peacefully. A lot of people who have been brought in, but reports say that police believe that there is some kind of maybe drug phenomenon or something going on that hasn't been a problem before. These people seem a bit out of their mind as things are kind of going forward. He turns the TV off and turns back to you. This all suddenly started about a week or so ago. We were able to catch a couple of them, but before it got to the public, but it affected too many people and too wide a spread, we couldn't stop it. Sheriff has been trying to lessen the impact, but
Well, then it's a really good thing we're here, because my friend here, and he'll kind of just nod towards Maggie. We get this done, I'm pretty sure this will be solved in what? 5 minutes? I don't know how long this thing will take.
There is ceremonies can take a little bit of time, but yes, this is likely a result of the bane that is. It seems to be fading in a way off of the city. It is very large, and my family, we have a ritual a ceremony we can do to connect it to someone and then sever it.
Sure. I have informed the sheriff of your arrival and your claim, and while he is not able to make it here this evening, or in any reasonable time frame, I'll take your report and information, and I'll forward it to him as to what you need and get back to you with an answer.
See, that's all well and good, but you said this started a week ago?
Eh?
Yeah, and 700, you said?
The TV said. That's what we didn't catch beforehand.
Okay. The longer we take waiting to fix this, the bigger it's gonna get. And we have more than just this problem on our plate. That's
Mr. Holden, I
even
get it.
bigger.
I understand, Mr. Holden, but I don't have the authorization. It depends on what it is you're asking. If you are looking for the sheriff and the primogen, I assume it's beyond my authority. But if it's something that I can greenlight, what is it you need?
What is it exactly?
What we need is from the sheriff and likely the prince. Because I need the right to be able to destroy a kindred in this.
See? My point exactly. So do you have a kindred in mind?
Yes.
We have one.
Yes. We have someone in mind that has done and attempted quite a few traditions violations by the name of Victor.
I assume this is to be done against their will, not voluntary.
No, not he would. Yes, you are correct.
So you're asking for the right of destruction.
Yes.
All right. And you said Victor, as in Victor Adams, who you've crossed paths with multiple times in the last year or so?
Yeah, that'd be him.
Right. Well, do you have anything that might sway them, leaning in your favor? Evidence as to why that might be necessary for this particular kindred against their will?
Well, you know anybody that's good with computers? Or can do some freaky mind things? Got one of those in your pocket?
I don't have a direct line with the Oracle anymore. But sure, we could find someone who could work with the computer for you. What do you have?
Quick video of Victor Adams trying to Diablerize my Coterie mate.
Does the video show him actively attempting to Diablerize?
Shows him in the process of it. In a room full of other kindred.
All right. Where's the video?
We uploaded well, it got uploaded briefly before my phone was destroyed.
Uploaded where? What do you uploaded? As in you uploaded a video of an active Diablerie to the internet?
Again, it's not a complete video. It was about maybe a second and a half, 2 seconds. Wasn't a lot. Wasn't my finest moment. Doesn't look great, so I figured if somebody could kind of, work their magic.
Where would the video be found?
Where did we say it was saved, Maggie?
Give him your account information, Matthew.
Right.
You send him the information. He immediately pulls out his phone and he sends out a text. We'll get back to that in a moment. Is there anything else?
Yeah. Another big thing that could be potentially problematic and citywide. You heard about the blood drive that's happening?
Hey, yeah, we've got a few, we have a few kindred in the city who are trying to make use of the event.
Yeah, they might want to reconsider their catering options.
How do you figure?
Well, because Maggie here, along with my cousin and my other coterie mates, were all poisoned by my friend with something in the blood. And I'm pretty sure he's the one responsible for this, so... Yeah, I know we caused more trouble than you are comfortable with.
All right. So, and I don't suppose you were involved in the shooting at one of his, Mr. Adams's openings, as I'm sure you weren't involved with the fire that took place in the previous one.
Okay. I was there for the fire, but I was upstairs stealing something when the fire happened.
And what of the gunfire?
That was Drake's friend. He was involved in that. I was outside when that happened. So yes, I'm adjacent to most of the problems, but I am not the one responsible.
Why is your friend still alive to poison the blood?
Because he's coming for me. And
Poisoning the blood at a blood drive in the middle
Well-
of a kindred city is a lot bigger than just you.
yeah, because you see, he's under this impression that doing what he did was to save my life, and now he's got this, I don't know, hero complex where he thinks he's going to save the world. I don't exactly know where his head went south. I mean, hell, he was a better criminal than I was.
He looks down. Begins texting on his phone. And then you see him move the phone so that it's horizontal and begins watching something. You can kind of hear some voices and stuff, and then you hear a woman's voice. Now, Mr. Holden, and snatch the phone away. You hear the sound of plastic hitting a hard floor, and then it cuts. And he kind of sits there.
That would be Drake's friend who took the phone. What did he call her? Sheer?
He sets his phone back in his pocket. Miss Alvarez has removed the content from your drive. The issue I have with this video, though, the only real Masquerade breach that I find is the stake in the chest of Gray. Outside of that, it doesn't have much more than him approaching. There's no show of diablerie this could be chalked up or defended against as another one of his performances.
That's true, which is why I was trying to see if we can't find somebody who could LoJack my brain, since I was there witnessing it.
Of the Malkavians in the city, Charlie's the only one who we reliably count on for those. Unfortunately, she just kind of does things at her own timetable. And as I said, I'm not really on speaking terms with women. So,
Well, I just guess I'll have to find a way to get in touch with her. I mean, technically, we did save her life, so...
I'd be careful with the approach of that because she also got you out of a possible murder charge.
Fair.
I think... Wait, so you were at the location.
Yes.
Where is Victor now? Are we to read? How do we reach out to him and let him know that he might be called in for a summons?
Well,
They found him after he was heavily injured. He is currently being nursed back to health in my care.
He's in your care, yet you're here to
I am asking permission.
call for his execution.
Yes.
yeah, we're doing it the opposite way. We're asking for permission instead of forgiveness. Because we know how it works trying to ask for forgiveness.
I am asking this on terms of pragmatism.
Could I possibly offer up an alternative?
Who?
The girl.
The fledgling.
Without anyone to take accounting for her. As Bellatrix has left her duties. And did not take her with her. Unless someone from your coterie is offering to put their hand on the block for her. Which we've already had to clean up a mess that she made. She's going to end up having to be put down anyway.
So the alternative is a child who doesn't know better versus a grown kindred who continues to make problems in this city.
Allegedly based off of your accusations. As far as I can tell, he's not actually made any problems for this city, just your coterie. Second, he's also an influential kindred through the greater United States and parts of Europe. His disappearance might be called into question. I'm not saying he's not a fucking twat, but he does... There are people who will come to back for him before they come back to back a child kindred. If you wish to push the case with Victor, I will do what I can. I'm just giving you based on the evidence that you've provided me, what has he done to the city? Can you at least prove that he's done something to the city?
Not with what we got right now.
If it is unsuccessful with Victor, I will use her. But zealots like him are dangerous.
I don't disagree. But zealotry is hardly a crime worthy of death.
Until they behave like zealots.
Until they do. But we already have one walking breach, which is the biggest one. And Victor, while again, is a prick. he doesn't break the law. Or at least hasn't been found to do so. But I will forward this information. When the sheriff gets here, I'll present everything. If you like, I'll send him to you directly. Where do you want him to meet you?
I'm sure he has the information on where my haven is. We can meet there.
Very well. I will also present, obviously you'll have the ability to present what you have to him, but I will forward what you've told me about the event coming up to the Council of Primogen and to the Prince.
Excellent.
Maggie will pull out a vial from her purse and hold it out to him. This is some blood that was taken from one of the Hors d'Oeuvres. She'll hold it out. It's drugged. You may want to have those people that are regularly with blood drives and the like test it so they know what they're looking for. A normal drug test to be able to find things.
We'll see what we can find. He takes it from you. I have some work to do if you're going to get feedback anytime soon. So go into your haven. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. Go ahead and get to your haven, and I'll see to it you get an answer.
Thank you.
Thanks.
He leaves you alone. Good. No. He leaves you alone. And before long, you guys are guided back out to your vehicle. Do you go anywhere first, or are you heading straight to the haven?
Maggie will look over to Matthew. Do you want to be involved in this?
Which part?
Well, evidently I have to speak to the sheriff about this.
Well,
And you're the only one that actually knows anything that might be able to pin him.
yeah, I might as well. And I'm already involved. I might as well do it the right way.
What do you know that he has done?
That I can prove outright.
That's not what I asked. What do you know that he has done?
Murdered several kindred, attempted to diablerize at least one. Who knows if he hasn't diablerized the other ones.
And there's proof for none of them.
Other than what I got up here.
I may have to hand him over. But given what I have said, and what we have been doing, he's going to owe me his life.
Miss Haywood, are you going to blackmail Victor Adams?
I don't need to blackmail a man to own him.
Damn, because I was going to ask you in on that.
I don't. Blackmail requires shame, Matthew.
No, yeah, that's fair. He is shameless.
So even if we can't use him, he is going to owe me, much like anyone else has. But this girl, I am not against sacrificing her, because I don't know how much of her is.
I did promise Sarah that I wouldn't let anything happen to her. But if it ain't her, I don't see the fault in that.
That act changes who and what you are. There's a very real possibility you've never known Sarah.
That's true. This could have been all an act from the get-go. I don't know.
But there are still parts of her. She is still a child. She's still a girl.
After a moment, there's a knock on the door. And Jarvis kind of pokes his head in. Say what? There is someone here to see you. I believe it's the sheriff.
Ah, yes. Thank you, Jarvis. Please leave that.
After a moment, the door opens. They step inside. The door opens and Sheriff Lansky enters the room. Good evening.
Sheriff.
Sheriff.
Mr. McTeer has provided me information about your request. Do you have something for me that I do not find the video to be enough? Yes, I would. Is there something else that maybe I might be able to use?
Evidently, all of his crimes have been well covered.
And all I got is what's stored in the brain pan.
I still believe that he is a source of this problem. Even if he covers his crimes so fluidly.
You believe he is a source of the...
I believe consistent death in painful and ritualistic ways, unconsensually, can be a source of this sort of bane and can be a draw. His zealotry may have led to such things, but I have no proof. And there will be no proof until it is too late and he has made too many people disappear. But evidently he has enough friends in high places where even this sort of thing may not warrant an investigation or stick.
Such is kindred life.
I have been keeping him safe and cared for while in his torpor.
He is tortured.
Yes. It is the safest way to help him heal without harming anyone.
I do not doubt that this Victor item is a troublesome. But if you are asking for the right of destruction, I am afraid you do not have the grounds in order to be granted that request. If you had something a little more concrete, perhaps, but as it stands, I am afraid that is not something I can give you. Mr. Kahila tells me that this is for a ritual or ceremony.
Yes. It is for a ceremony because there is a bane that lurks over the city that is causing all of these problems that we saw in the news recently. The numerous violent incidences.
You are certain of this?
Yes. With everything that I am certain of this.
And this does require the death of a kindred.
Yes. It requires to be linked to such a thing and to be sacrificed in order to break the link. See, humans, kind, cannot be fetters. They are alive. We are undead things. We can be fetters, and therefore we can be torn from what is fettered. Considering the nature of what it is, the fact that only one kindred has to die is generous.
This conversation reminds me of many we had a couple years ago. I suspect the prince has not given their final say, but it is quite likely that they will not grant this. Unfortunately, with the lack of evidence, Victor's too high profile. Though perhaps we you have no alternative?
I have one alternative. Though I was hoping to save her for when Bellatrix returned to the city.
I see. Sarah.
Yes.
So she did not go with Bellatrix.
No.
Bellatrix left too abruptly. I was not able to return her to her in time.
Where is Sarah now?
Maggie will lead him further into the morgue, if you'll follow me.
He follows.
She will gesture up at a locked locker amongst the morgue. She's in there.
How long has it been?
Since her previous mess.
She made a mess.
It was cleaned.
We don't screw everything up 100% of the time.
There was no breach. Child are making this.
How come there was no report?
There was a report.
Yeah.
We did not receive a report about a mess that had to be cleaned.
Perhaps
For
you
us to
should-
keep an eye on a childer?
Cahill is aware of it.
Very
Mr.
aware.
Lockdeer knows.
Yes. As was Mr. Kane. I assume that this would go up the chain of command with
Edward.
reports. Should we make things directly to you now?
That might be best. Very well. Unfortunately, I do think, unless you can find an alternative, Sarah will cause you the less trouble.
I understand.
I
For the care
unfortunately,
and trouble, I understand. You don't need to explain the politics
of
of
course.
Mr. Adams. However, I will, for the care and trouble I've gone to with him and keeping him alive, I will expect him to.
That will be between you and Mr. Adams, but I will make a formal note of it in case things require escalation. He stands up and he lowers his head. I unfortunately don't have time to spend too far away from my duties. Things are escalating even now. If
Of
you
course.
can resolve this matter, I hope you do so quickly. I have to make sure no more fires need putting out.
And
So I
Um,
have
say
your. So I have your permission to sacrifice her.
I will get you the permission from the prince, but I am sure that is going to be the answer.
Thank you.
And he leaves. Or Matthew would say something.
And did Mr. Cahill inform you of the other thing we mentioned to him? Just about the blood drive.
He did.
Okay, good.
We will have a few people there, a couple of deputies to kind of oversee things, try to help as we can, but we still have the
I know this
mass
takes
across the
precedence.
city.
I
Yes.
just make sure they're on their guard. They're posing as donors. So
We will.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I gave Cahill a sample of what he should look out for.
Yes, he presented that. I told him to go ahead and have it evaluated. If we find anything, you'll be first to know. He bows, I must take my leave. And he leaves the morgue. Leaving Maggie and Matthew with a complex decision. We are going to go to break. When we come back, we will bring the coterie back together. Thank you for tagging along so far. We will see you soon. And welcome back. Coming back from the break, we find ourselves returning to the morgue, one of Maggie's havens. Everybody, after handling whatever business they have for the point from when they last met to now. We will go ahead and have everybody come together in the morgue itself where the bodies are stored. There is a kind of lingering quiet for a moment before the scene is yours.
Before anyone comes in there, Maggie will be looking at what seems to be a rather large cooler that has been very thoroughly shut. Seems like there are various kinds of tape holding it together so it doesn't jostle. But she will stand over it and stroke her hand down the middle of it. I won't let you be forgotten. And I'm sorry that someone took what was your story left. And she will straighten up, smooth out her blouse as she looks to the door as it opens.
Sophie comes kind of rushing in a bit. Maggie, I have good news and a possibly bad news. Which would you like to hear first?
Possibly bad?
It's older kindred, as old as me, may be dropping in on our endeavor, which may be useful but may also be quite distracting, and I may not be at my best during this process, though I will try my best, obviously.
Who is this?
Yes, Marie. I've mentioned her before. Actually, it was the roommate that I had back in Chicago before I was taken. She's alive. Well, undead, but like us. Yes, quite surprising. But a good.
I would
thing.
imagine it sounds about right that she would be distracting for you. But
Yes.
So, what will she be doing there?
I don't know really. She wants to help, I think, but well,
Better
I'd really
question.
rather.
Why?
Well, I may have mentioned that I might be doing something a bit dangerous. You see, I was hoping that she would leave the city during this dangerous mission. But she's a bit headstrong. Yes. So I believe she wants to maybe help.
She wants to keep you alive.
Maybe I'm actually after that confrontation. I'm not really sure what she wants. Hopefully, But yes, the good news is she is alive and well.
All right, and she will be assisting you in keeping an eye out while me and my family do the ceremony.
I suppose I did try to give her as little details as possible, and I did not tell her the timeline that it would be happening this soon, as I'm hoping she doesn't actually show up and that she's safe away from everything. So I don't actually know if she's going to come, but she may drop in.
I say, does she have access to your belongings?
I don't know. She was a bit cryptic. She said she could smell me, I think.
Is she also Malkavian?
I would assume that Ezekiel is also her sire based on the situation, although there was another kindred there that, as you know, there was the lamp man and then there was the hat man, and Ezekiel, she mentioned that as she woke up and Ezekiel helped her, so I'd assume it's yes, very likely.
I see. For a moment, I had been worried that she dropped an air tag in your purse, but I think your family finds other ways of finding each other?
I don't think she marked the air around me, though is that a possibility? Like,
Air tag is a device that can track you.
oh, well, she
Like
gives
a
me
little computer.
oh, well, she did give me a record, but that is at my haven, so I don't think so. Sophie will look into her purse. Does she see anything that is amiss?
Everything looks like it's in proper order.
Yes, I don't think she did anything nefarious, if that's what you're worried about.
I wasn't worried about her doing anything nefarious. I just thought she may have taken measures because she was worried about you.
Oh, no, she seemed to be pretty good at perhaps finding. Oh, that is a bit troubling, actually, because I've actually had a very similar ability where I could sense someone that I've seen. I could almost track them. So I suppose she really could do that. Well, then she may be showing up then.
Alright, then if she does show up, she will be with you and keeping an eye out. Because you are very perceptive.
Yes. Perhaps after I conceal what we had talked about, what we had discussed, perhaps I should take a safer approach, maybe a rooftop exposure.
I don't think you should be on a roof. It would be like a bird on a wire.
Oh, right, because the enemy is above us. That does. This is why you're one of the best, Maggie. That is a great point.
I just want I am thinking in a similar vein to your friend, your roommate. I want you to come out of this alive, Sophie.
That would be preferable. But
Maggie will put her hand on the cooler. While we are doing this ceremony, it will be... your ability will be removed from it due to us messing with it, due to us using it. But once it is done, I will close it again, and we will need it to be re-hidden so we can move it.
that shouldn't be too much of an issue. I am a bit concerned in this process, though, about Mr. Hodges. If he's gotten a whiff of this, he may come to interfere. He was quite fond of. I just feel he might, but that's only if he knows about it, which I'm sure probably doesn't.
Mr. Hodges will have more to get through than me to stop anything. And hopefully he understands the level of importance that this holds.
Right. Then this should go off without a hitch. Other than the hitch when we are dragging it along, but you know that.
I do.
About that moment, the door opens. Drake and Matthew are guided in by Corbin.
So, what have we got around here? What's the plan?
We are going to have the ceremony take place in the middle of Clear Vista. During this fair blood drive.
And are we
We will-
using Victor?
We are using someone.
Drake will shift his jaw, looking up. Not enough proof, was it?
Not enough.
Drake seems to be
You
considering
will not be
something.
involved in the ceremony. I don't see how this concerns you.
It's not about the ceremony. And he'll look straight at Maggie. You know what? Fine. Can't get the. Can't use them. Can't use them. Our existences are full of meaningless gestures, aren't they?
What do you mean, can't use Victor?
There wasn't enough proof.
I should have just dropped them. Taking Racker.
Who are we using then?
Maggie will look down at the cooler. Sarah.
But she's just a child.
She is in the same situation as Duncan, but with less control.
Are we confident in that?
I assessed the mess she made, the 4 people she killed, and the 3 that she embraced. I am confident.
She embraced several?
She didn't know what she was doing. So I am confident when I say she is like Duncan, but with less control. The control of a child, with the mind and the power of someone beyond her years. Don't make this decision lightly. But I also have to be careful for what I bring on my head.
So what does this ritual ceremony entail, Miss Haywood?
You will not be involved. You will simply, all 3 of you, I cannot give you details of how the ceremony will be. I simply need
Alright.
all of you to keep people away from it.
Now that I can do. Are we expecting something that'll need more than just fists, by chance?
Maggie will look at Matthew.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I can turn a few heads the opposite direction than where they should be.
Matthew,
So-
go ahead and give me a wits and insight for me.
Three.
It dawns on you as you're talking. You know Louis will be there. You know Louis is going to be pushing his blood there. He has no reason to care about your ceremony.
I think I'll have bigger problems, or there'll be bigger problems to worry about. But I'm still sure I could keep the attention when needed.
How are we
You sh-
going in?
I would say try and blend in as best as you can.
Alright.
Just look
I think
like
I
a
might have-
person.
I can do. I think I have some spaces and some jackets I can use too to hide stakes if needed. Yeah, just because we're not going against Kindred doesn't mean a stake isn't useful. Kopesh I'll need to keep in whatever vehicle we take in. I could probably conceal carry my handgun, although it's not exactly tiny. You're running the show, Miss Haywood. You tell me what I can and can't bring, and that's exactly what's going to be followed. I'm not going to go out the reservation this time.
I don't know what to expect.
Well then,
Though I do anticipate, Sophie, you anticipate your friend being there.
Yes. She probably could turn a few heads, though. Realistically.
There will be. The sheriff will have his own agent at this blood drive. Since attention has been brought to it. They have the sample I took from you, Drake. They're going to test it. Or it has been
Alright.
tested.
eh,
They're going to
as
keep an
long
eye
as it
out
helps.
for it. It helped. It did.
Okay, so you know the weaponry I can bring to bear if needed, out of what we can take in. Just what we can get in and what
Yes.
you think is necessary.
Be as Masquerade safe as you possibly can be.
Hidden stakes. Keep the magnum on a back holster under a jacket. On it. Like Drake's gonna look at the cooler. How big is the cooler?
Like a decent sized one.
Kid size.
Good
But
if it.
it's a decent sized one, but if it has a person in it, they are folded.
Can it fit a sword?
No. If you move it, you will hear sloshing. There is water in it. Drake,
Hmm.
when I say Masquerade safe, it means discreet stakes. Used only when absolutely necessary.
Yeah, that is what I gathered, Miss Haywood.
Violence has been on the rise. A gun would not be unusual, but it would call a lot of attention. If you can incapacitate physically, that would be preferred.
Good, loud and clear.
I'm not going to be able to communicate while this is going on. Maggie will look at Matthew. I need you to understand. Your friend Louis is dead.
He's just forgotten to lie down.
Good. I need you to remember that when you see him again.
Don't worry. This time, I'll finish the sentence.
Okay. Please give me a wits and aspects.
Who did you ask?
Sophie.
Sorry, I couldn't hear the first part.
Oh, my bad.
2 successes with possible special failure.
2's good. You feel you feel something kind of almost like somebody gently tugging your shirt. And your head kind of instinctively turns in the direction of the lockers.
Maggie, I feel a bit spooked, perhaps by Victor. I don't know if I feel there's a presence or something. I feel a bit uncomfortable. Drake, would you mind checking that out?
What in specific, Miss Clues?
I don't know. I just feel. I feel I should go toward the lockers, which is not going to happen. So I suggest, Drake, you are the strongest, and you are able to handle anything. So I feel that you should go check it out, perhaps.
Drake will immediately turn and look at Maggie. May I? Your lockers.
Just a moment. Maggie will activate Sense the Unseen and not look at Drake.
Yeah. You don't spot anything so much. The closest thing. Yeah. You'll notice something almost like a very faded strand of something that is frayed between Sophie and Victor's locker.
There's a string.
Oh.
Maggie will start heading toward Victor's locker.
Drake will follow behind, a hand on a stake.
Miss Clues, if you would stay behind me, please.
No need to tell me twice.
I mean, walk behind me.
I can do that too.
Maggie will unlock the locker that Victor is in carefully and pull out the slab that he is on.
Now, what has been done with Victor in the time that he has been in this locker?
Victor has remained staked in a way that Maggie will occasionally come in, feed him cold blood, unstake him long enough for him to heal, and then restake him. So that he is healed enough to be able to be a person, but not healed enough to move too much.
Sounds good. He is in the same state you left him in.
Do you look around? Where does the string go?
That's the thing. As the fraying, it does seem to be connected to Victor, almost seeming to source from the head. But it is almost nothing as you get closer to him. Like I said, it becomes more frayed the further it gets from Sophie.
Sophie, what do you feel?
I feel a bit unnerved. I'm also feeling, well, how much detail do you need this?
There is like a spider web that is connected you to him, but it is fragile, frail.
Fragile enough that we could just unknit it. Just give a quick snip.
I think with what you're saying, you kind of glean this is probably the end of it. This is almost like a reach that can't normally be attained and probably won't again.
Okay. Maggie is going to reach into her bag and pull out her ritual and pull out a glove. And then pull out what looks to be a ritual. Seems to be made of silver. And she's very pointedly making sure that only the gloved parts of her skin are touching it. And she's going to sweep it along the thread.
It almost wisps away like smoke.
Does it seem to have an effect on Victor?
Victor's in a torpid state. He's not responding to anything happening.
Okay. Maggie's going to start closing it if no one objects.
I have no idea what happened, but good knife stroke.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know what that pantomime was about, but we good?
I will say, when I say a reach, this is more of a specific. You can tell this is sourced from Victor. Like I said, this is a reach, like an attempt to connect.
I see. Maggie will look from Victor into Sophie. Just start. Matthew, you claimed that Victor likely has committed amaranth quite a few times.
Yeah.
There is a chance that he may have eaten a mirror. May have gained some odd ability. She'll continue shutting it.
I should have killed him when I had the chance.
Maybe we still have one at some point.
Circle just side-eye Matt. Maybe. He's not worth what was lost. That's for damn sure.
Everyone has spoken of Bellatrix like she left. We know that she was looking into what happened to Gray. Is it all possible that
Victor ate her?
I didn't really want to say it out loud, but yes.
Oh, I can promise you, he's done far worse things. That's a polite way of saying it.
Oh, let us prove that he ate a primogen. Or whip. Sorry, whip. She's the whip. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to get such proof so easily. Not in time for this blood drive. I mean, I could walk back in the direction of the garden, but well, I'm not sure that'd go any better.
Yeah, let's not. We've already done enough damage.
Sophie, can you scry him?
I'm not really sure what that would entail. I'm not.
That is not a gift you have. I understand. They I've met There were previous Malkavians that I've known that had such gifts.
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I'm a bit inexperienced. I do apologize.
It's alright. Maggie will continue shutting the locker and lock it shut. I'm going to regret not killing you. And she'll start walking away from it.
Yeah, you ain't the only one, Miss Haywood.
I'm sure
Truly.
that's going to go around everywhere.
Oh, I'm sure the city will regret it. But they won't say anyone didn't warn them.
Miss Haywood, a bit more random of a question, but if we get through this, I think I want to see if we can find a spirit. I won't ask you to go out of your way, but at least like to know that a friend isn't in the clutches of the Bahari and is just peacefully dead.
We will see.
Fair enough.
So, what now?
Well, I guess we put on our fun shoes and happy pants.
Maggie will stop. Maggie will pause and look back at the locker. I think he wanted to talk to us.
Oh, I'm sure he did. Talking is his greatest weapon, most likely.
I don't give a damn what that man has to say.
Well, if it's anything like the other Bahar, it's usually probably something that would sway in his favor, but absolutely would seem like something we need, and then it would be a poisoned dagger that just gets stabbed in our back. Hold on, I'm just guessing.
Well, I don't know this man. And you two seem to have a better idea of what he is than I do.
Anything he wants to say is poison. Because curiosity is how we tend gardens. That's how we get seeds planted. If he wants us curious or wondering what he has to say, it's not good for us, put it simply. I'm not going to try to be the decision maker here, but that's my opinion.
If you two don't think what he has to say is worth hearing, then I'm not going to waste my time.
That is my opinion.
Yeah. Who knows what he's going to do and how he's going to try to sway one of us or all of us. I've seen his speeches. I'll wait for the movie to come out.
Alright. She will head back over to the cooler.
As you step away, one moment. As you step away from the locker and make your way over to the rest of the group, Sophie, you feel that connection die. With that, we will move on. When we move past this scene, the Coterie will find themselves at a blood drive when we return, facing a final encounter. But before we let go tonight, we will have a couple final little glimpses. The first we see is a broken garden. A handful of people in robes removing a body from a crucifix. As they lay the body out, you hear a couple of them whispering amongst themselves. What do we do with this one? Perhaps he can be taught. He was with Victor longest. A few back and forths. Finally, someone reaches out, grasps the stake, and removes it. The body lays unchanged. It's not a kindred. He staked a kind. What happened to Novak? We snap away. Shifting to a final space, as your coterie is arriving on the grounds of the blood drive. We pan away from the vehicle that you will be arriving in, seeing people lining up, getting ready to donate blood or participate in what little festivities there are about. We pan into a small little vendor that looks like they're probably selling food. A man looks like he's standing over a fry basket. A customer complaining, yelling, nagging about whatever thing they have to complain about from behind them, and you can see the person frustrated with their back turned to the customer, trying to maintain some kind of positivity in the evening, but then there's a moment where his expression fades. And then he looks forward. He turns around toward the customer, pulling the basket of hot grease up out of the device. His arm slings forward as we pan out. Several hundreds, thousands, little black strings. Panning out further, we hear a scream breaking out, and then a cacophony of screams as you see the giant shadow hovering over St. Pete. And that is real in tonight's session. Thank you, everybody, for tagging along so far. We are coming to the finale of Bloody Strings. We will see how our coterie manages to survive, or at least maybe save the city. We will see you all in the next chapter. Final chapter. Good night.